As the sun set in Abu Dhabi on Tuesday for the final laps of running during the postseason test, we can now officially close the curtain on the 2022 Formula One season. 22 races across 5 continents and 20 different countries gave us plenty of great F1 action in what was the first year of a historical rules overhaul. After years of anticipation and delays, we finally got to witness the debut of F1's new era of Grand Prix cars, and the end of the season provides us with the perfect time to assess the success of the new regulations. With 22 races worth of data and references, we're going to take a look at some of the positives and negatives of the 2022 F1 rule changes and whether they lived up to expectations. We will be interested to know what you as the fans think, so after you're done watching this video, make sure to leave a comment on whether you think the new generation of cars have lived up to the hype. Before we begin looking at the positives of the regulation changes, let's go back to the preseason and see the stated aims and goals of the new F1 cars. The new regulations had one main guiding principle: to allow closer racing with a potential for more overtakes, a happy but secondary goal. The main issue with the old generation of cars was the quote, catastrophic downforce loss when following another car closely. In 2021, if a driver was following a car at 10 meters, he would lose 46% of his downforce. But in 2022, a driver following a car at the same distance would only lose 18% of the car's downforce. So with this in mind, we can say that the FIA and Formula One did achieve their stated goals of the new cars. F1 fans didn't have to wait long to see the positive effects of these new cars, as the first 2 races in Bahrain and Jeddah displayed the ability of these 2022 cars to follow closely. The multiple lap battles for the lead between Leclerc and Verstappen was something we would have not seen in prior years with the old design philosophy. With less dirty air hitting the car behind, drivers this season experienced less overheating on the tires and less sliding across the fronts, which in turn allowed them to push more consistently over a stint. Some of this was helped by Pirelli's new compounds this year, but overall the changes to the technical regulations was the biggest factor. Now with the primary goal being achieved, F1 can also boast that their secondary goal was reached as well during 2022. This season saw 30% more overtakes than 2021, with 785 in total. According to Pirelli chief Mario Isola, only, quote, proper overtakes were counted, and not ones through pit stops and/or retirements. All in all, the changes to the floor, front and rear wings, along with the low-profile 18-inch tires, have made the F1 bosses happy that their new generation of cars have reached their stated targets. But despite achieving their goals, not everything is so perfect, as Formula One fans are a tough crowd to please. So let's look at the flip side of the 2022 regulation changes. Despite boasting a 30% increase in overtaking this season, wise old F1 fans will see right through this number, as it doesn't tell the whole story. One of the main issues this year with the racing has been the mighty effectiveness of DRS. Sure, we've had 785 overtakes in 2022, but many of these were completed with DRS and on a straight. Considering this, Pirelli might have to redefine what a proper overtake is, because F1 purists would not consider a pass on the straight an actual overtake. The drag reduction system has been too powerful at times, and we haven't seen many overtakes being completed under braking. Although the wheel-to-wheel battles have been good this year, thanks to the improvements we just talked about, a huge negative of the rule changes is the weight of the cars. A 2022 Formula One car weighs 798 kilos, and they are the heaviest of any F1 car in history. Not only are the cars heavy, but they are massive in size as well. Being 5 meters in length and 2 meters wide, 2022 has shown just how sluggish these cars are in slow-speed corners. Not to mention how it makes overtaking next to impossible on some of F1's older racetracks. And despite a reset of regulations, we still have the old guard dominating the upper echelon of Formula One. The gap between the Big Three and the midfield grew even bigger in 2022, with McLaren being the only other team to score a podium this season. Hopefully with the budget cap in place, this gap will reduce quickly, but it was rather disappointing to see the disparity in competition. In summarizing this season, it appears as though the majority of F1 fans have given a thumbs up to the new generation of cars. Our fan poll on YouTube suggests that 73% of our viewers believe the regulation changes achieved what they were supposed to. Wherever you stand, good progress has been made in 2022, but there is still a lot of room for improvement in terms of the on-track action. Typically, as teams get used to a new set of rules and understand the design philosophies better, the field gets closer, and hopefully by next season, we'll have more teams fighting at the front. With cars being able to follow more closely now, a solution to the DRS problem is something that will need to be looked at so that we can try and get the most purest racing possible. A lot has been learned by F1 in 2022, and improvements are certainly on the way. Drivers are already complimenting Pirelli's 2023 compounds, saying they feel more front-end grip, which was something lacking from the 2022 tires. And although we didn't get a classic four-way team battle for the championship this year, there is plenty of hope and optimism that the next few seasons should be quite exciting with these generation of rules and cars. We've got the closer racing, but now we need the closer competition so that we can truly enjoy the quality from these teams and its drivers. So do you think the new regulations lived up to the hype and expectations? And what are your hopes for the future of F1? Leave your comments down below, and make sure to stay tuned to our channel, as there's plenty more end of the season content on the way.